There is a place, if you listen long enough, that no one sings about. It sits nestled between the Carpathian ridges, veiled beneath perpetual mist, where no bird-song dares settle, and even the wolves tread lightly. The village no longer bears a name, at least not one spoken aloud. Locals refer to it only in fragments, that place past the black birch, or where the bells no longer ring. But centuries ago, it had a name, damn stitched into maps, whispered in monastery scrolls, and carved into the ribs of those who survived it. Mara's Hollow. In the spring of 1612, a Benedictine chronicler named Father Calder arrived in Mara's Hollow to document what he believed to be a case of mass hysteria. What he recorded over the span of 9 weeks would later be hidden by the church, dismissed by historians, and eventually buried like the village itself. His journal, discovered during a fire in a Prague archive in 1897, was damaged but legible. It began not with warning, but with awe. You live without music, not a hum, not a whistle. The silence is devout and heavy like the inside of a crypt. The children do not play.
Ow.
The women smile without showing teeth. And every home bears a small offering bowl outside its door, filled not with coins or grain, but with nails, feathers, and milk teeth. The next evening, Father Calder returned to the hut, not out of courage, but out of a need that clawed at him more cruelly than fear ever could, the need to understand. He found the door ajar. The interior was not what he expected. No symbols carved in blood, no altars piled with bone. It smelled of wet wood and chamomile. A fire burned low in the hearth, the smoke curling like fingers around the rafters. Herbs hung from the beams. Jars lined the shelves, each unlabeled. But there was something off. The air was heavier, not with smoke, with memory. Matra stood at the far end of the room, stirring something in a blackened pot. She did not look up when he entered. "I thought priests knocked," she said. "I thought witches locked their doors," he replied. Silence, then softly, "I'm neither." She gestured to a stool. He sat. It was several minutes before she spoke again. "You've seen enough to guess, but not enough to believe. So I'll show you." From a shelf above the hearth, she pulled down a small object wrapped in silk. When she unwrapped it, Calder felt his breath catch. It was a tooth too large for a man, too curved for a beast. It's blackened like charcoal, yet glistening wet as though freshly pulled. The edges shimmered in the firelight with an oily iridescence. "He shed this when he first opened his mouth," she said. "It was the year the sun failed to rise for 9 days. Father Calder leaned forward, unable to look away. "Where is he?" he asked, barely above a whisper. Matra turned to him fully now. Her eyes were no longer hollow. They were tired. "Beneath," she said, and then she began to tell her tale. She had been chosen at birth. Not by the villagers, but by something older. A wind that crept through keyholes, scent only newborns could smell. When she was 3 days old, she stopped crying. At 7, she walked into the woods and returned with a song in a tongue no one could name. At 12, she was taken to the stone cradle, deep beneath the birch roots, and presented. And he accepted her. "He never speaks," she said. "Not in words. He dreams. And I listen." Calder asked what he looked like. She shook her head. "No one can look. Not directly. Your eyes forget shape when they try. But you feel him. It's the way you feel thunder before it strikes." She gestured to the jars on the wall. "He doesn't eat flesh. He eats becoming. Possibility. The soul before it forms. That's why the children must be young. Before love. Before language. Before memory." Calder stood now. His hands trembled. "This is evil," he whispered. "Blasphemy. No village, no land, no salvation is worth this." She smiled. A sad, knowing smile. "Tell that to a mother whose crops no longer rot. To a father who has never buried a wife. To a village that has not known war for 300 years. He backed away. "You're mad?" She rose. "No, I'm fed." Before he could respond, there was a sound. Not from outside. From below. A low, gurgling breath. Not quite a growl. Not quite a sigh, like something dreaming of hunger. Matra turned to him, suddenly still. You hear him now. The fire dimmed, the walls groaned. And from beneath the floorboards, Calder could swear he saw something pulse just once, as though the very earth had a heartbeat. "I'll go to the bishop," Calder muttered. "I'll bring fire, stone, iron. I'll bury this place." Matra said nothing, only walked to the door and opened it. "The last priest said the same thing," she said. "His eyes are still in the jar marked winter." He ran back to the inn. To his room. He did not write that night. He could not. But the next morning he did. He wrote of a dream. A cradle of roots cradling a tongue made of smoke. A name with no letters. A lullaby sung backwards. And at its center, a woman's voice, whispering, "You came to bear witness. Now you carry it."